we played in Challenge game. And I remember saying, hey, I've seen an incredible talent. And that was James Horn. And he was one of the last ones I would ever thought that would have got involved in management. Very quiet type of a guy, easy disposition, but he certainly has embellished his reputation over the last couple of years as being one of the very, very best.
Eamon Fitzmaurice trying to burst his way through. He succeeded.
I came across Eamon Fitzmaurice first of all in 1998 when I was managing the Kerry '21 team. So when I took over the senior team, he was centre half back in that All-Ireland winning team against Mayo, and you know, he's back facing them again.
Your man in charge on a Sunday, Jack, looks like a cool customer. Did you see him as a potential manager when you had him as a player?
Yeah, I think that's a parent, John. You'd be the same yourself. That you know, you'd pick out 4 or 5 players usually out of most teams that would make potential managers, and certainly Eamon was one of those. Yeah,
he looked very calm, like on the sideline, a little bit like James Horn.
Certainly, yeah, very much like your own man, James Horn. He always appeared very laid back and as if he was playing within himself.
Yeah,
I'm not sure is that the impression he gave you, but that's the impression he gave from the outside, yeah.
Yeah, certainly very quiet demeanour, very focused, and in the last 4 years he's done a fantastic job with Mayo. He's surrounded himself with good experts, but he's created this environment down in Mayo that has really allowed the players to flourish. I suppose in the modern era, you know how difficult it is to get into 2 All-Ireland finals in a row, and here they are maybe on a cusp of getting into a third, and that's a debate we could have for a while here. But
well, he's done amazingly well to get them coming back. You know, I think behind the calm exterior there's a good bit of steel in James Horn, because you have to have that to keep coming back and motivate the players to keep coming back.
Getting back to Eamon Fitz, like, I mean, why did you bring him in, which as a selector, like, after he retired?
Yeah, well, I had him as a player in 04. He was centre back in the team that you beat you in 04. And when I came back in 2009 for my second period, I thought Eamon would be the ideal man to bridge the link between myself and the players. Because he just retired, he knew a lot of the players. He had good ideas on the game. You know, he was well up with modern thinking in the game and tactics. He was very shrewd and good at video analysis and stuff like that. I wouldn't be the greatest with the technology, but Eamon was. And then he struck out himself then with the under-21s in 2011 and did a good job there. So he was ready for the job when he came in.
The whole management scene has changed fundamentally in the last couple of years. I know when I got involved in senior management back in 1990, I nearly ended up driving the bloody bus to games.
I know, yeah.
But the whole thing has changed fundamentally. Like, I mean, would you ever see yourself getting back in there yourself? Or?
Well, I'm involved with the minors, and we're ironically enough, we're playing Mayo as well. It was not as intense. I mean, the senior job now is very intense. It's a full-time job. Like, there's no question that it has changed fundamentally since, you know, since I first got involved with Paddy Shea back in '96. There was no way that you had the same scrutiny at that time. Not even the same scrutiny from the media.
But that's my point. I was going to say the media
players tweeting stuff and all this kind of thing. We never had to deal with that.
No. Tell me, Jack, if you were in Eamon Fitzmaurice's shoes now, looking at the Mayo team, where would you see Mayo's threats? I'll tell you, where I see the threat from Kerry.
I mean, just in general, first of all, I mean, Kerry have a great record against Mayo in the championship, obviously. But I think it's a very even game. Could come down to
bit of luck,
small things.
Black card, a yellow card.
Somebody coming in off the bench.
Yeah.
It's not Ireland, nothing for Mayo.
That's right.
So, like, there is more pressure on James Horn than there's on Eamon Fitzmaurice. No question about it.
People down in Mayo would identify that the Kerry team is in a transition phase, whereas Mayo, on the other hand, with some of our older players, you know, maybe this is the last throw the dice for them. But I mean, it's going to be a fascinating game, like, I mean, intriguing contest.
Most people are kind of giving this All-Ireland to Dublin already, but I mean, these two teams have to just eye each other up and concentrate on this one, because, you know, any of them can win it. There's no question about that.
Tomás O'Shea has been a star performer for the Kerry Miners, but he's no one-trick pony.
I loved, you know, doing the dancing and then the football as well. The football side are pulling me one arm, and then the dancing world are pulling me from the other arm. I don't know, I'll have to make a tough decision at some stage. But when I started off 6 or 7, started off back in Galras, the local pitch here. I was trying to keep the dancing side of it quiet, but that broke out then when I was dancing at Fesh. We had a game straight after. Like, some of the lads went into the hall, they see me dancing, and then the next training after that, then I got some serious amount of stick up for it, and that was going on for years. I used to hate going back to training. Like, they used to be pestering and annoying me, like. you were called all sorts of names if you were dancing, like girls thing, and I just take no notice of it, and that helped me down through the years. Like, I've been touring the world now, and they're saying, they'd be looking and saying, sorry for mocking you and sorry for doing this and that, and I just say, all right, good luck. Well, I started dancing, I think, when I was 5. My mom just pushed me for it. I hated it when I started off. Like, I used to be crying, and she would physically drag me out. Like, I hated it. Because, of course, with the stick I was getting from football, I was just, is this worth all the hassle for it? Like, the Mini Munsters, I think, was my first fish that I started winning. I won 6 out of 7 dances, I think, out of it. And that graded me up to the Ord, which is the highest thing you can go in the competition levels. There was no hassle then with the practice. Like, I used to go out practicing on my own.
You'd say to Thomas, okay, mach agus clachta, and out he'd go. There was no issue. There was never an issue with practice.
Last year we were playing a Carnivory final with the school, and I was over dancing in England, so I had to fly over the morning of the game. I was absolutely jaded, like, and I still managed to get man of the match in that. And of course, then recently, the Munster final when we played Cork, I got the player of the match in that. So it's great to be recognised as the dancer when you're playing football. Like, there's no Thomas O'Shea, he's just the dancer. He's dancing around the pitch, like, as the commentators say, he's doing a jig around the defenders. Hopefully I'll be able to keep the two going. Obviously I'll try my best to get onto the senior panel. There's ever been an Irish dancer that has a world medal and then an All-Ireland senior title, like. For Kerry football then, once the minors finish up now, hopefully in September, throwing off the football boots and throwing on the dancing boots for a while. I'll be taking a year out now from college. I'll be going away on tour in September with a group called Dance of Desire. So we're going to Eastern Europe for a month. So that'll be a nice tour to start off with. Hopefully it'll flourish from there on. They're my 2 goals that I've achieved, to play for Kerry and to dance for Riverdance.
A rugby season ago, football legend Cora Staunton sought a fresh outlet for her.
We had a good win here against Galway in the semi-final, and then we won the final here against Sligo. It was a major boost to us to win Connacht that year, because we hadn't won Connacht for 12 years.
And in fact, Mayo had only won Connacht title 3 times since 1951 at that stage, which is incredible when you see how much Mayo have won in recent years.
I spent a year as a guard out in Ballymun. That day I went down, I got to Croke Park, parked the car, walked up with my bag and ran on the turnstile. I said, I'm playing, and he just clicked the turnstile and let me in. People would find that hard to believe now, but I suppose that's 34 years ago.
Because of the similarity of the colours of the jerseys changed to the provincial jersey.
Before the game, you go out to have a look around. The colour, the atmosphere, but once you get onto that field, like, there's a job in hand, like, and there's no point of looking up at the stand for any help, because you got to do it on the field there. So
we were facing, I suppose, a Kerry team that was going for 4 in a row.
You had Jack O'Shea in the middle of the field, you had Pat Spillane, you had John Egan, Paddy O'Shea. Like, you really couldn't single anyone out, because they all fitted in so well into the scheme of things, and that's what made them really a superb team.
The ball is knocked down to McHale. McHale comes back to Joe McGrath.
We did okay in the first half. We had some great midfielders and fielders of the ball, but the power of Kerry that day just was awesome.
Inside is Ger Powerhouse through, and it's...
I can remember a ball went into the canal end, and, you know, for a fleeting moment, you think we have them under pressure, and the next thing, it went down the field, not a hand was left on a Kerry man, and it was in our net. Yeah. From 1 minute thinking we had them under pressure, to the goal at the other end, but the speed of them, they were unbelievable. They were unbelievable fast.
You kicked the ball into Burke, I think, did you, for that goal? Yeah, you danced around Dealand.
I was lucky that it was Jimmy Dean was coming across. Yeah. And if he didn't bite the dummy, I'd be in the hook and stand ball and all. But is he able to do it again? No.
And this is Willie Joe Patton. And Jimmy Burke has got inside. He sends it into McHale. McHale getting ready to take his shot. What an eruption in Croke Park. And here we are. Here it is again.
God, I got plenty of stick about that. But when I look back on it, that was the only goal that was scored against Kerry in the championship that year. So that kind of justifies a bit of the celebration. You can always remember the cheer, you know, because we had 5-6-1 supporters in the crowd, and it did give us a lift.
We were just 4 points behind at half time. I think it was 2-7 to 1-6, something like that. So when you go into the dressing room, you feel optimistic. You don't foresee what's going to happen, so you don't really plan for it. You kind of go out and say, if we keep playing the same way, we're going to be all right. But no, we weren't, because Kerry just upped it. They were merciless in the second half.
Here we go again. Oh, a great save by Michael Webb. And another shot over the bar.
Did we get any scoring up during the second half? Did we not even get it close and free? I was just trying to think.
Wide. I kicked it wide.
We didn't. The ball wasn't coming.
No, didn't come beyond halfway. I don't think.
The slide right up.
I can remember about 20 minutes, and you were caught up power of balls and kicked them in. And you stopped and you shouted in, is there any Mayo men in there at all? I said, I didn't hear it.
And the referee calling for the ball, and the game is over.
Actually, I was quite fortunate at the end of the game. I happened to be marking Paddy O'Shea, and as it was one off, we decided perhaps we can exchange here, which we did. So I'm fortunate enough to have a jersey belonging to Paddy O'Shea. I think you can still get the faint tinge of Paddy's sweat off it.
We knew coming off the pitch that we hadn't the amount of work done that they had.
It was an eye-opener for us, like, you know, that if you are actually going to compete at the top, you know, what you had to do. Liam O'Neill came in to manage us, you know, I think after that, and certainly the whole training system changed, even though it took us to 85 to get back to win another kind of championship, but certainly in a couple of years, the amount of work that was put into training and to get to a level that we could compete again, you know, that was the turning point, really.
Sport is like life. There's ups and downs. You know, there's bad days, and
you keep going.
Keep going. Stop. You don't, like, if you have a low day in life, you don't stop living. You keep going, and it's the exact same in sport.
Back out again.
Yeah.
Under-21 grade has become both bridge and finishing school for championship hurling. Wexford the latest county to pick up on the move.
The bridge between minor and senior now is the under-21, and guys are getting exposed to the physicality of inter-county hurling. They're getting better trained, and I think a lot of counties now are seeing the benefit of having a good under-21 team. You look at Clare last year, you look at Tipperary back in 2010, there's a big overlap between their under-21 and their senior players, and I suppose it's a way of getting lads up to that level.
To be honest about when I was under-21, I don't even think we trained. This year and last year we started our first training sessions in January, so we've been training for 8 months, so that'll just tell you the level of commitment. And it hasn't been easy, because sometimes you're a victim of a little bit of success. 9 of our squad has been involved with the senior team, which has had a tremendous year, but then to get access to the lads has at times been very, very frustrating.
If a lad's really developing well, he gets his chance, and like a good year with the seniors this year probably brings it all together, you know.
Likes of myself and Connor, I come from a senior club, he comes from an intermediate club that's doing fairly well, but I think the under-21, it's a progression at a standard that lads carry through from minor. I don't think there's too many minors that have played minor and senior without playing under-21. Mentally, it's a very, very big step up from minor level. Like, you will get the exceptional player like a Jack Guiney or a Conor MacDonald, but not every player has that ability, and I do think it's important that both physically and mentally they are prepared properly.
Being involved with the senior setup has kind of exposed the lads to the demands of playing inter-county, and young lads just have to really give up their life to commit to it.
First off, pressure on the backs all the time, in their faces all the time. Galway play the running game, we have to be on them every chance we get.
I think it's incumbent on any under-21 squad that the ultimate goal is to try and produce 6, 8, 10 inter-county players at a high level, because the average age of the inter-county player is getting younger and younger. So if a player is only starting to learn what it takes to play at that level, particularly when you're competing against your Kilkennys and Tips and Corks of this world, that by 21, 22 it's almost too late.
Right, move the ball quick, lads.
Some guys also develop that little bit later. There's examples down through the years. I mean, Owen Larkin is one prime example, Henry Shefflin, Lar Corbett, all these guys really only came into their own under 21. Now, had there not been an under 21 grade, some of them wouldn't have gotten their chance as seniors.
Don't throw it away, don't throw it away. Come on, win it back, get in on it, get in on it.
I appreciate the thing about the fixtures pile up and burnout, but you know, the guys are with the seniors, they're not training with us. I mean, it's up to management to work together, that lads are not being overtraining. Let's be honest, young lads love playing matches.
We're young lads, we're wanting to be hurling, we'd be giving out if we weren't hurling, you know.
You don't want to be resting, like, you want to be out playing and buzzing in for championship hurling, like, and that's what lads love playing. But, like, you do all the training in the winter for championship hurling, you don't do it to rest.
3 or 4 years ago, I would have been questioning where does it fit in the GAA calendar. But what I've seen in the last 2 years, there's an absolute necessity for the under-21 grade, and that shows with its level of exposure now on the national stage. And there is an appetite and an excitement within the county for the match on Saturday.
We have to follow the man, right? If we give Galway 2, 4, 5 yards of space, lads, and so they're going to want to run. And by the time you've reacted to it, they're going to be gone. So get it into your heads, defenders. Wherever he goes, you follow.
The Limerick game didn't go our way, you know, so hard to take it first, but the recovery was kind of short a small bit because we knew we'd have a job in a couple of weeks. You know, we had to knuckle down again and just go again.
I think the whole county now is focused on the Galway game and getting down and getting a job done, and hopefully we'll be able to match them in Thurles on Saturday.
3 years ago there was 9 points to spare. I think 3 years on we see a far different Mayo animal. This is their 4th consecutive All-Ireland semi-final. I think they've evolved a lot over James Horan, so very, very impressive around the middle third. Aidan O'Shea obviously was a contender for Footballer of the Year last year, but it's his brother Seamus that has really kind of stepped up to the plate this year. And then I think Lee Keegan is probably one of the best footballers in the country at the moment. All the talk about Kerry at the start of the year was the retirements of Paul Galvin, Tomas O'Shea, Colm Cooper's injury, but I think their younger players have really stepped up to the plate. Eamon Fitzmaurice has put a lot of faith in them. Even though Kerry don't have Cooper this year, between Donoghue and Gainey, they have 2 really informed attackers, and the points totals they've been putting up, they've been kind of key to getting them over the line in games. Probably an area of concern for Mayo is their full back line. They're up against a very informed inside forward line in Gainey and Donoghue on Sunday, so I think that's definitely an area that James Horan will be targeting to improve on. It's going to be interesting as well to see the way Kerry will line up at midfield. It was a source of real strength in the Munster final, and I think it's one they'll be looking to replicate. Very tight game to call. I think I might just have an edge for Kerry. You know, I think they can put enough scores on the board.